You're listening to Bloomberg Businessweek with Massar and Tim Stenovec on Bloomberg Radio.
We're wandering. It's Friday. Can you tell it's 5:23 p.m.?
I need a drink.
I need a drink. Well, speaking of that, I don't know if you saw this news earlier this week. Did you, Tim?
I did, yeah. Axios reporting that Uber was shutting down Drizzly. You remember Drizzly? It's the alcohol delivery service it shelled out more than $1 billion for back in 2021. You can still order alcohol using the Uber app, but Drizzly will stop taking orders in March.
Done.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, well, don't despair. There are other ways to get alcohol delivered. If you're over 21, of course, one of those ways is using ReserveBar's MiniBar delivery, which has been delivering booze for more than a decade.
We've got Derek Correia on with us. He's CEO of ReserveBar. It's an e-commerce company specializing in rare and high-end spirits, and also, of course, the company that runs MiniBar delivery. Derek joins us on Zoom from Bedford, New York. Derek, good to have you with us this afternoon. We made a joke earlier in the day about dry January and giving up your phone for January. But of course, dry January is when people tend to give up booze. How is business? Do you notice a drop off when it comes to January as a result of dry January?
Hi, Tim. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah, definitely. In fact, starting about 5 or 6 years ago, it started to be a noticeable thing. And I would actually say that it seems that dry January is becoming more popular, which is a great thing. There's a lot more beverages available to satisfy a not drinking situation where you can still drink a quality non-alcohol beer or a mocktail. So there's a lot better options in the market now.
So how much of that Tim, you're into mocktails?
Oh yeah. I'm all about the non-alcoholic beer and the mocktails. It's like, yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, I drink more of that than the actual real stuff.
So Derek, you sell that as well, correct?
Yeah, we do. And increasingly so. So we have those products on our platform as well. And in fact, even on an everyday basis, if you're using our platform to provision because you're having a party or you're getting stuff for your own home, we always encourage people to buy non-alcohol product as well. If you're a host, that's the way to be a good host, is to serve a great variety of beer, wine, and spirits and cocktails, but also have non-alc drinks available for your guests, many of whom who don't drink even when it's not January.
I see this at restaurants all over the city, Carol. Do you see this
that?
Where you look at the wine list or you look at the beer list, and it always includes in 2023, 2024, a list of mocktails or non-alcoholic options.
Totally see.
It hasn't always been like that.
No, it hasn't. So this is where I want to go, Derek. You guys, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you started back in 2013. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much right around the same time as Drizzly.
All right. So tell us about that. That's a good look at kind of this market. So a decade in, how has the market changed and what are the trends that we are seeing today when it comes to ordering this way?
Yeah, so the market grew pretty steadily and relatively conservatively for a lot of that time. Then of course COVID came along and shut down bars and restaurants, and to a certain extent even shut down retail because people weren't out, and that really accelerated the e-commerce adoption rate when for the most part it was the only way to get beverage alcohol. So that accelerated all the businesses, including ReserveBar and Drizzly, and MiniBar at the time was not owned by us, and we acquired MiniBar Delivery during the midst of the pandemic. And since then, now that restaurants and bars are open, there's been a little bit of a cooling off. People are going back out and enjoying restaurants and bars and their favorite cocktails and drinks out. But e-commerce, in addition to the platforms, is happening in a lot of new ways. So when we saw that Uber acquired Drizzly, we fully expected them at some point to ingest it into the Uber Eats platform. That makes sense. But people are buying on platforms like MiniBar Delivery, which can get you most products you could ever want in an hour. On ReserveBar, where we offer a little bit more curated, higher end, information-rich experience that's better for people who are enthusiasts and want to explore new bourbons and scotches and so forth. But increasingly, people are buying, they're not just shopping intentionally. That only happens about 15 or 20 minutes a day. That's when you end up on a platform like ReserveBar and MiniBar Delivery. But when you're reading an article about great spirits, or you're out and you're watching a video and it includes a great cocktail, we're creating shoppable moments in all of those instances. Because even though you weren't shopping, if you're exposed to the right product at the right moment and you can buy it right then, people are. And that's really the future of e-commerce.
Hey, Derek, so I want to go back to this idea of what Carol was talking about and the trend of what you're just seeing on the platform. I was doing some research ahead of this, and it turns out that I'm not alone, Carol, when it comes to, not drinking alcohol anymore.
Right.
So Gallup says that younger adults these days, well, I don't know if I'm considered younger adult anymore. Anyway, are less likely to drink than those of the same age 2 decades ago. So that's happening. However, older adults are drinking more. So is there this shift happening where young people aren't drinking as much and they're going to continue not drinking as much, or they're going to actually start to drink more as they get older?
That's a really interesting question. What we're seeing is people are drinking differently. I think the older people who have more disposable income are drinking better. And especially during the pandemic, we saw a lot of premiumization of, people weren't spending money at restaurants or bars. They were not going on vacation. They had more money. So they started to explore higher end marks. If they like scotch, they started drinking nicer scotches. If they drank gin, they drank nicer ones. The younger people, I think when I say they're drinking differently, they're drinking more mindfully. They're thinking more about how and when they drink. They're more dialed into calories and wellness in general. They actually drink cocktails more frequently than younger people did, even as recently as 4 or 5 years ago, when young people mostly drank beer and wine. So the things are changing. And, the nice thing about our platforms is we have an immediate view, literally day by day, minute by minute, as to what the consumer is doing, and can constantly adapt our product assortment and our tactics to those changes.
We do a beach house typically. We have with kind of our family and extended family. So it's, the kids have grown up. They're all teenagers or in their 20s and 30s. And it's just interesting. It's not beer. It's a lot of wine, but it's also a lot of cocktails that we increasingly are making. And that's what they want to make as well. Having said that, is there a core consumer that is doing the most business on your platform, Derek?
Yeah, so, we have different platforms and different people use them for different occasions and for different things, right? MiniBar delivery is perfect for provisioning your everyday products. You have some friends coming over, you realize you're out of beer or you need some vodka, you can get that brought to your house in an hour. ReserveBar is more, you're maybe sort of just kind of flexing yourself into knowing about bourbon. And so you're coming because you can learn more about bourbon. You can, immerse yourself in deep information about distillation methods and ingredients. And that becomes, especially for the younger consumer, not only valuable on that path to purchase and that customer journey in providing that, but increasingly, beverage alcohol is a very social thing. And there's kind of social currency in knowing about tequila and knowing about bourbon and knowing how to make a great Manhattan or Boulevardier. So younger people are often coming to our platform, not just to buy, but also because it has the content they need to continue their journey of education and knowledge.
Are you seeing more growth on MiniBar delivery or on ReserveBar?
They both, again, because they service different customers, they grow differently at different times. ReserveBar does a lot of gifting business and corporate gifting. So it has a tremendous, October, November, December. MiniBar actually pops other times, a lot of times for parties like Halloween, for instance, is not a big deal for ReserveBar, but it is a big deal for MiniBar. So they both grow and they grow in different ways at different times for different occasions and needs.
Time to pop the cork, which I just did, and continue with Derek Correia. He is the CEO of ReserveBar, an e-commerce company specializing in rare and high-end spirits. As you know, we've just been talking with him. He's also the company, and it is the company that runs MiniBar delivery. Derek continues with us on Zoom from Bedford, New York. I do have a terrible record, Derek, of breaking corks here at home. It's just, I got to work on that.
As long as you're good at drinking the wine, then it's okay.
I'm very good at drinking it.
Yeah.
We're going to pour some wine that you have been kind enough to share with us. But I want to get to some of the brands because Tim and I have been kind of all over your platforms, both MiniBar and ReserveBar, and it's really quite a range and quite a variety. So talk to us about some of what you want to make sure is out there for customers.
Yeah, so the great thing about these two platforms is another difference is MiniBar Delivery has over 3,500 retailers, and you can buy essentially all of the products that are available from those retailers. So that's kind of a max assortment, which is great. You can search for and find anything. Products are merchandised within categories. The shopping journeys are easy. All of your favorite brands are going to be there, whether it's Tito's vodka or Bullet Bourbon, and you can find some unique stuff too. Reserve Bar is more curated, so we've actually spent the time with our experts to find really the best stuff, to have a lot more information and education and intrigue in those shopping journeys for people who are more passionate, to find rare and limited products. We are the main platform in this industry for launching new products, which includes new products from all of the brands and the companies that create new brands, as well as a lot of celebrity. We just launched, the Rolling Stones have a new rum called Crossfire Hurricane.
Cool.
And that was just launched on our platform. So oftentimes you can get products on Reserve Bar that really aren't available anywhere else, including our own cask selections. For those of you who are really into bourbon and tequila, we go to distilleries and pick casks specifically for us that we bottle off and have very limited quantities.
Derek, how does fulfillment work with Reserve Bar? Do you actually have the inventory and you guys are responsible for shipping it out, or do you outsource that like you do with MiniBar delivery?
Yeah, that's a good question, Tim. None of our platforms and we as a company do not hold a license, so we never touch any bottles of alcohol. We don't have any inventory. We're really a technology company.
Wow.
That has very deep technology to comply with beverage alcohol laws and to connect with our network of retailers to match you as a customer who's interested in buying something with a retailer that has that product at a good price.
So none of that overhead. That's
if you want to buy something that is exclusively available on your platform, who then ends up fulfilling that order?
Yeah, there's certain retailers in our network that benefit from being associated with us and our relationships with the distributors and the brands. So we know that they're going to be the ones that are getting that product, and we're then able to route the orders.
But are these retailers like mom and pop liquor stores? I mean, I remember ordering a bottle of bourbon for my mom that she really liked, and the closest place it was available was somewhere in Long Island.
Nice, and Mrs. Stenovec.
Yeah, she liked it.
You're a good son, Tim.
And it was something that was kind of hard to find, but it came from essentially a local store on Long Island that just had it. I don't even know. Maybe I used Reserve Bar. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But is that how it works? Like they're the ones who then ship it, and you guys don't ever touch it?
Yeah, right. So for widely available products that were available near you, if you were wanting it for yourself or near your mom, it would come from that local retailer and be delivered locally. But you get to shop a more interesting assortment that might not be available near you or a gift recipient, and we'll then ship that product to them in a compliant fashion, packaged very nicely and safely. So that's how you can access a more compelling product assortment that you might otherwise be able to get locally.
So then as the business model, we're Bloomberg and we're always interested in this kind of stuff, so kind of getting in the weeds. So do you guys just get a percentage of the order, or do you just get a set fee on every order that's made? How does it work?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we're basically a marketing service for the retailers in our network. And the reason they sign up with us is because we're sending them incremental orders. So in exchange for that, they give us a small fee associated with sourcing that order because it's incremental to their business and they wouldn't have otherwise got it.
All right, tell us too about pricing strategy. And I'm going to pour a little bit of wine. You guys have been kind enough to send.
I wish I knew. I would have had my own wine as well.
I wish you had. I feel terrible. I'm not quite drinking alone, but it would be nice to have you as a part of this. You shared with us a bottle of Josh Seller's Legacy Red Blend. Looking on the website, MiniBar delivery, it's about $14 a bottle. But you guys have quite a range of stuff that's out there. How do you think about price point in terms of? I'm going to share it. I'm really sorry, Derek. I'm going to share it with Tim.
This wine is a meme now. Did you know that?
I know it is a meme.
Okay.
Our producer was talking about this. One of our producers. How do you think about price point? Is there any strategy behind that?
Yeah, so one of the hardest things about operating in this industry is the regulations, federal, state, county, city. And one of those that's very clear is that retailers have to be the ones that sell you beverage alcohol, wine, spirits, beer, and they have to set the price for it. That is a universal regulatory situation. So the prices that you see on our platforms are actually the prices from the retailers in our network. And so our technology is seeing, is the product you want available, which retailer has the best price, which one is closest to you, and kind of doing all of that hard work for you as a shopper to match you with a retailer and a product that can get to you quickly at a good price.
Derek, what was the strategy of getting all these retailers on the platform? Was it old-fashioned shoe leather? Was it picking up the phones? Like it's a one-off thing. This is tough to do.
Yeah, it's all of those things. And in the early days, it was a slog. You know, when you were calling, you would tell them you were calling from ReserveBar, and they'd say, Who? What? And you'd have to explain the entire concept of e-commerce. Nowadays, I think it's pretty universally understood. And the retailers, we are still, reaching out to retailers, but many are coming to us curious about the benefits to them and the commercial terms of joining our platform. And it is open to, expansion. And we are still in the process of adding more throughout the country.
Hey, Derek, just got about 20 seconds left here, 25 seconds. What's next for you guys? As we are going to sample the wine, and because it is Josh o'clock somewhere. But what's next for you guys?
Well, what's next is what's right now, actually, which is because we don't hold a license, we're able to syndicate our technology in all kinds of interesting places. Like if you were to read an article on Whiskey Advocate about the 20 best scotches, you could buy any of those scotches right there without leaving Whiskey Advocate and continue consuming that content and also buy whatever you wanted. And we're also powering the websites of brands because lots of people go to visit sites like Hennessy.com or the Macallan.com, and they can't sell you a bottle of alcohol directly because of the 3-tier system. But our technology enables you to shop and buy because you actually are buying from a licensed retailer.
It's fascinating.
So you're going to see a lot more innovation of that kind.
Yeah, it's interesting how you guys are doing. Hey, listen, come back soon, and hopefully then we can share a drink together. But would love to kind of hear as you continue on in this business. Derek Correia, who's CEO of ReserveBar, and also, of course, the company that runs MiniBar Delivery.